Hey guys, so today we're going to discuss which pot you should use for each growth stage and life cycle of your desert rose. Let's check it out. Let's start with the beginning stages or the early life cycle of your plant, which is sowing your seeds. So if you're growing from seeds, you typically would have either seedling trays or small pots. So I wanted to show you this seedling tray here and give you a closer look at the depth. And I have a tape measure here. Let me see. So this is, call it 2 inches in depth here. And I feel like this is, although you can use this seedling tray, I like to keep the seedlings growing for at least 6 to 8 months and not disturb it or repot it. And so I feel that, again, although this will work, I would prefer a seedling tray that's a little bit deeper. So probably more so at least minimum this height here. And I'll pull out my tape measure again. This one is about just under 3 inches. Okay, call it 2 3/4. Seems like not much of a difference, but trust me, when you're growing your seedlings, and keep in mind your seedlings can take and need more water during its early life cycle here. It's better to have a deeper pot or tray to keep it moist most of the time here. Okay. So that's stage 1. So moving on to stage 2, call it anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. I wish I had a pot that's in between here that would work well, but if you're in hotter regions, like in Texas here, in the summer it gets well into the 90s, sometimes a low 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This will work. And let me pull out the tape measure again. This is about 6 inches in depth. Sorry, 6 inches in depth. Okay. And of course, keep in mind your soil mixture. Better to have it well draining, and then you can adjust your watering. Okay, so stage 2, again, between 6 months to a year and a half, depends on the growth. You'll have to pay attention to the growth, the size of it. Not all of them will get to a certain height or width. It all varies. Okay, now stage 3. So about a year and a half, I think even up to maybe in 3 years. This is a good sized pot here. This one is about 9 inches in depth. Sorry, let me show you the width as well. This one is about 10 inches in width. Okay. This one is just under 7 inches in width. Okay, so again, this is stage 3. Okay, up to maybe about 3 years. Again, depending on the growth and the size. And of course, larger pot for any of your larger plants. This one, I wanted to show you guys this one because it has obviously tons of holes in it. It's like a mesh pot. Good aeration, obviously good for drainage. This one is just under 10 inches in depth and about just under 14 inches width. And I want to show you guys the bonsai pots. I know, David, you hope you're watching here. You mentioned that you are having some conflicting suggestions on using shallow pots like bonsai pots. Bonsai pots really are for style and for bonsaiing, if that's a word. It will work. You can use bonsai pots for your desert rose if you're trying to showcase the root system and of course making a bonsai out of it. But you have to keep in mind, less soil, less depth, it'll lose its water retention or evaporation quicker. And so I generally would recommend bonsai pots for those that are very advanced in taking care of the desert rose and have the time to take care of it. With it draining quicker, of course you have to water multiple times a day. Maybe you're out at work away from home for longer periods, you don't have time to water it. Not a good pot to use if you're only able to water once a day, right? And so just keep that in mind. Of course, the type of soil mix that you use for the bonsai. When you pot these, generally you would kind of create a mound in the middle and then plant the roots in the plant around the mound here, okay? But again, very shallow. Let me show you with the tape measure here. This is it's about 2 3/4 in depth. This one's about maybe even a little less than that, okay? But again, you can use bonsai, but it's only really, again, for aesthetics and style. I would, and if you want optimized growth, larger caudex, I would start with deeper pots. And then when it gets to a certain age and size that you're satisfied with, then switch over to bonsai pots if that's what you want to do. But not early stages. I would keep it growing well in deeper pots to keep the water retention up. Okay, so I want to show you guys this, and let's go outside. I'll show you some examples of plants and some of the pots that I have, and kind of go in depth there as well. Okay, so here's an example of a few pots and plants that I have here. This plant is about, it's definitely under a year old, maybe around 8-9 months here. And this one I actually cut the caudex and working towards root training. I don't know what the roots look like yet. I cut the caudex, dried it for about 3 to 4 days, put some rooting hormone and put a plastic piece under it, and basically buried it in this pot. And I'm going to show you in a moment here, and we're going to see what it looks like. I did this about 2.5 months ago, 2.5 months, and so you'll get to see what it looks like in a moment. And so as you can see, probably could leave this in this pot for at least another 6 to 8 more months easily, provided you give it enough water, nutrients, and things like that. So this is a good sized pot. There you go. And of course, you guys seen this one here in my other video. Not enough soil, pretty big caudex here. I could use the same pot, add more soil, repot it. I probably will do that. May think about one size up. Depending on how the roots look like, I might kind of root prune it a little bit, but you could add more soil and use this same pot. So just to give you guys an example of the sizing here. Okay, so let's take a look at this plant and see what it looks like here. Okay, so I'll try my best. I don't have the right setup today with my tripods here for the camera, but try my best to show you guys here. Usually I would leave this here longer, obviously, but for the video I wanted to show you guys just kind of what it looks like here. So again, it's been only in this pot for a couple months. Oh, okay. As you can see here, the roots are growing nicely. Okay. Here's the plastic, basically a to-go container top, and I cut a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. There we go. You see, so this piece here forces the root to grow outwards instead of straight down. Okay. Nice radial roots. Basically just cut this in half, let the codex dry for 3, 4, 5 days. I added rooting hormone, and you can see the roots growing nicely. This is a bit young, so I probably won't mess with the roots at this time. Usually I would trim some of the roots to kind of make it more uniform, but it's still a little thin right now, so I'm just going to leave this alone. Again, usually I wouldn't repot or uproot this yet. It's only been a couple months here, but just wanted to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to put this back like that. Make sure the roots are spread out nicely here. Oops, sorry. And ideally you want to do this when the weather's warm. It's in optimal growth, probably later spring or the beginning of summer, before you want to do this process here. This is exactly what I did to my other plant in the video, the how to root train your desert rose video I have as well. If you check that out if you haven't seen that yet. Okay, so let's repot this. I'm gonna use this same pot. As you can see, plenty of room left. Okay, the depth is great. Can sit in here. I may repot it depending on the size in midsummer next year, but this is a easily a good sized pot here. Okay, and of course it's only in the end of August here, so midsummer next year I can repot it. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that. Add some new soil. And lastly, I want to show you guys just a few seedlings that I started here. This is the size tray that I was talking about. It's a little bit deeper than the tray earlier that I showed when we were indoors. Pretty good depth here. Okay, and they're growing quite nicely. Some of the seedlings or seeds, sorry, that I started weren't a couple didn't produce well, and so I started them anyways. And as you can tell, the quality of the seeds matter, that's for sure. These seedlings seem to struggle a bit. Okay, there we are. So I'll leave these definitely through the winter, all the way into the spring, see how it grows. But just wanted to show you this one. It's a good depth here. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.